Welcome back, family. LANCESCURV here of LANCESCURV.com. I'm not as hyped as I was last night. I don't know what got into me. I get a little crazy sometime and talk crazy out of my head, but I hope I'm making some kind of sense because my brain is very abstract. It's very vast. Anyway, I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad to be back. And another idea, another thought hit me revolving around this thing called the smartphone. The title of today's episode is "The Smartphone is the Modern Day Pandora's Box." You know, this thing called smartphone, whether we know it or not, it has changed us as people who populate the planet Earth. It has changed the vibration because whatever it is that we desire to see with this smartphone, it's more than just talking on the phone. We have internet access and our minds can go wild. Our imagination can go wild. We can peel back layers that we didn't have access to before. And we don't understand that. We just think, oh, it's a fun thing to do. But remember, years ago, when we went to the library or got our hands on a book and we saw a new word that we didn't know before, we would have to go to the dictionary. But if we heard of something in that book, a place or a person, the only way to find out about that place or that person is to go and take out another book about that. We'd search for titles. We use the index cards. That was always weird to me in the library to find out where those books were. But it's instantaneous. And we can go down different roads with the encyclopedias and the books that are in the library. But on the phone, the sky's the limit. And we have this phone to ourselves and we can search where we want to search and find ourselves places that we never knew existed. And then also vibe with people who are out there seeking the same things out. Now you can understand why this is like not going to be a good thing. You have to really have discipline and a high vibration to get out in social media. Then you have the dark web where anything goes. That's the red light district of the internet. It's crazy. And why did I say the Pandora's box, or it's the modern day Pandora's box? Well, a lot of people may not know what the Pandora's box story is all about. So I'm going to speak on that for a little while. A long time ago, let's just say like a story was a long time ago in a place far, far away, right? The most powerful Greek god of thunder, Zeus, created an extremely beautiful woman named Pandora. She was the first woman on earth according to Greek mythology. So this is Greek mythology. So, you take that with a grain of salt. This will explain the whole thing about the Pandora's box, right? And I'm going to rope it around into the smartphone. The myth goes that there lived two brothers, right? Prometheus and Epimetheus. Right? It's hard to pronounce that name. I'm having a Mike Tyson moment in ancient Greece, right? Who had stolen fire and given it to humans, which had upset the Greek gods. So to punish them, Zeus created Pandora. When Epimetheus looked at the beautiful Pandora, he decided to marry her. Pandora was not all beauty. Zeus gave her a flaw of being very curious, and with that, a sealed box as their wedding gift. The gods told Pandora and her husband that they must never, ever, ever, ever open the box no matter what. It was a wooden box, securely fastened with golden cords. I don't know about you, but I'll open that bad boy up. I don't know though. If they say don't do it, and it's tempting, but no, I ain't doing it. But Pandora couldn't stop imagining about the things in the box, like the beautiful dresses, exquisite jewelry, or money. Like what's in there, right? And it's a parallel with the smartphone, right? One day when Epimetheus was away, Pandora wondered, what good is a magnificent box wrapped in golden thread if you can never open it? Soon she couldn't resist the curiosity anymore and finally opened the box, even after being warned by the gods. The gods tell you something, you better listen. So she opened the box. Pandora released all the terrible evils of the world that infected humanity, like hate, greed, disease, envy, lust, death, 7 deadly sins, everything bad was released because she was curious and just didn't want to follow instructions. It shocked her. And almost immediately, Pandora slammed closed the box's lid, but it was too late. This left Pandora in tears, hearing her cries. Epimetheus rushed to her, and Pandora showed her the empty box by opening it again. But before she could shut it, the only remaining beautiful dragonfly flew out of the box and gave Pandora a big smile in thanks for his freedom. It was named Hope, right? So there was some hope coming out of that. But all the other dirty stuff, that's like me dumping you in the curb, the oil, the mud, and giving you a little handful of soap to just wash it. It's not enough. Hope is not enough, right? So she unleashed destruction, pain, and suffering upon humanity. Now, why do I say the smartphone is the modern day Pandora's box? Well, if you listen to the story, you can put 2 and 2 together and figure out why. Because unlike, and this is my opinion, I'd love for you to leave your opinion in the comment section, but unlike the Pandora's box, the smartphone does have some good, right? There's good in most things, but with human nature, curiosity, a deviant mind, we always want to twist something around or just don't listen. There's rules to everything. Like one thing, the law of gravity. You can take a kitten just born. Well, not just born. They don't know anything. They'll roll over the top of a building off the edge and fall down. But give it a couple weeks, a month or 2 to figure out its own body and to figure out things. You don't have to teach this kitten gravity. You can put it on the edge of a building. Let's hope it's not a windy day now. And it will look down and it's like, I'm trying to get away from this edge. Human beings are supposed to have the highest mind of all creatures on the earth. Yet we're so damn stupid. We used to have to go to the library to get books and go to school and study and, carry the books home. Now we have computers, which are lighter than the books. And it has vast information, more than any library combined. But we always want to go to the decadent things. We always want to go to the twisted things, the lustful things, the hateful things. We, with our human nature, make a choice with our smartphone to use it in a way that is more deadly than the Pandora's box could ever be. Well, yeah, the Pandora's box, according to Greek mythology, released hate, lust, war, disease, envy, all that stuff. Yeah, that's bad enough, right? But that's the starter kit. The smartphone is here to finish up what Pandora's box couldn't finish, even though we know Pandora's box was not really real. It's the point of the story, y'all. Because we give our children these smartphones and we wonder why they are rebellious. We wonder why they start engaging in sex even earlier than they would sneak and do back in my day. Yeah, we snuck and did certain things, but we didn't know certain things. And I'm not going to get graphic on this particular episode. I'm trying to get away from that, right? But because of the smartphone, which makes you dumb, I remember 3 or 4 girls in the back of my bus when I was in Orlando, Florida, driving for Lynx, the bus company I drove for many years. And these, I can't call them young ladies because they weren't ladylike. They were children. They were children talking about the more advanced techniques when performing oral, that's all I'm going to say, on a man. And they were speaking on how good they were. And they were speaking on things to enhance the experience, what they wore, what they allowed the man to see, the different pressure techniques administered to certain parts of the organ, if you know what I mean. How did they know this? And they were back there, they started sharing videos and talking about, look how she's doing it. This is what I do. And at the red light, I had to turn around. Number one, they weren't extremely loud. I have ears like satellite dishes. I have very good hearing, right? And I can hear over things. There could be somebody next to me talking pretty loud, and I can hear past them to somebody talking lower. That's just the skills you you get. And you, as a bus driver, I was a little distracted. A little bird came out the window again. What's up with these birds? It's a good thing. Maybe they feel my energy. But anyway, you give a smartphone to a child. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to see, the Pandora's box was one thing. But a child now, absorbing this stuff, corrupting their mind. It's destroying society because a certain foundation wasn't allowed to be put there. See, with a child, you have to break things to them slowly. Mommy, where do children come from? Now, don't lie, but give them enough to be satisfied in what you tell them until they come back to you again, and you can go more and more in detail. But with the smartphone and the time in the schoolyard or the time locked up in their room, you think you're punishing them and say, go to your room. You did something bad. Go to your room. You're not coming out for the weekend. This is punishment for you. They're laughing at you because they're talking to their friends, chatting with them, looking at things, titillating possibly men. I know of a situation where there was a young girl, 14, 15 years old, locked up in her room, and a 50-year-old man, no less than 50, was talking to her every night. What did a 50-year-old man want with a 13 or 14-year-old girl? What? And when her phone was taken away, she was so angry. And the mother eventually had to call the cops. She didn't know who the man was, but she got the daughter to call the man reluctantly, and the cops showed up, and the cops had to talk to that man to tell him it was inappropriate, and they would do what they needed to do to trace his number, to deal with him if he persisted. And that daughter was hot. No, not hot like men say, ooh, she's hot. She was hot, angry. Now the old 50-year-old man probably thought she was hot in a pedo kind of way. I don't want to say the whole word because they'll slam this video. I got to behave myself on YouTube because any little thing. They just took down another video of mine from maybe like a year and a half ago, and they said it was medical misinformation. But they're so specific in how you have to frame your words. You see what I mean? It's like ridiculous. So the hardcore stuff will be on LANCESCURV.com, probably on Rumble, and there's a couple of other alternatives that I may be looking at to put the content that's more fiery. But the audio will be on SoundCloud and be on Apple and Google Podcasts and about 15 other things. So we'll get away with stuff there as far as the audio is concerned. So go on the site, you'll see it on the homepage, all the different options are there, iHeartRadio and all that stuff. I'm everywhere. I have to make sure, and I'm not saying that in a way where I think I'm all that. Oh, I'm everywhere. No. But if one shoots you down, you have to be on another one. And unfortunately, that particular video that they took down, I would usually have it on the other audio podcast, but that one I didn't. So we lost it forever. So this is why I say, if you like something, don't even just save it, but download it. Keep it. So they take it off the air, they take it off the platform, it's still going to be there. But the smartphone, it has accelerated the wicked things of this world. Because back in the day, let's go back so many years, even when we had phones, like say the 50s or 60s, whatever, we didn't carry it around. We didn't walk around with it in our pocket. We couldn't communicate in ways with the regular phone with visuals. You didn't have that. You can talk to someone in any part of the world for as long as you have a signal, a cell phone signal, an internet signal, right? Some data and electricity to keep it charged. You don't want it to go too low. You don't need to have it plugged in all the time. But whatever's in your mind, like they say, the mind is the devil's playground. Well, there are a whole lot of minds out there looking at all types of things put up in message boards and chat rooms and websites, and then you pick it up from there. You titillate yourself, and the next person titillates himself, and then you titillate each other, and then you want to meet somewhere, and then you want to do somewhere, and somebody has a disease, and you give a disease, or somebody gets pregnant, and then you thought there was going to be love, or whatever. It's just crazy. Marriages are wrecked up, families are broken up, people they get screwed up in the head, because this thing is a modern day crack pipe. Well, the crack pipe was a modern day invention, but I'm just saying up until this point, it's worse than the crack pipe. I know people who are addicted to crack, who through sheer will, determination, and commitment, they're off of crack, but they know, I don't want to be near a crack house. I don't want to hang out with anybody who smokes crack. I don't want to be tempted. But from what I see, the potential for addiction is even worse with the smartphone and all the things that it releases in the mind, the things that you can see, the things that you couldn't see just by reading a book with your imagination, but things that are introduced to you and introduced to our children is really, really bad. And we need to understand, we need to have a way of policing and a focus on the children. But us as grown folks, we're getting messed up too. You know, we're really, it makes us feel as though time hasn't moved on. You can take a mature person who should know better with certain things, and it's like they can go back in time and listen to music from back in the day when they were 16, 17, 18, and they will behave like that because they get put back in that different mindset, because they can go from one song to the other, or see a movie. Maybe they were on a first date, maybe the first sexual experience in the back row, of a movie theater, and they can watch this movie and they start to think about all the things around it. Where was I when this movie came out? And they're seeing the movie and they're feeling a certain way. But as so many years went by, say like maybe, depending on the age of the person, let's just say 30 or 35 years went by, and this person is over 50, and they're thinking about the experience, and they get on Facebook, and something pops up, boom, the person they had that experience with, and they say, oh my God, look at them, they look so good. Just like that time in the movie theater in the back row. And so they go through their profile and look and see that they have children and they're doing well, but they don't see the spouse. And they realize that they're divorced. And so now you might be married, but you want to reach out to this person in your mind just to say hi. Yeah, right. So you say hi to them and they respond to you. And you have a conversation about all the people that you knew together. You find out a few of your friends passed away. The favorite store that you had in the neighborhood is closed down and it moved away and the son took it over. All these little things that bring you back into that world because of that small